So we are on day 4 of learning about characters' personality traits, and today we're going to learn how to infer personality trait by looking at the character's words. But first, let's review what we've learned so far. These are some of the character traits that Miss Norgard has gone over with you guys the first 3 days of this week. So we have trustworthy, being able to trust someone, appreciative, being, thankful and grateful for what we have, clever, being wise or skilled, dishonest, meaning they don't really tell the truth, confident, where you believe in yourself, irritable, where you get frustrated really easily, conceited, when you think you're just the best at anything and everything, rash, making decisions really quickly without really thinking them through. Prudent is similar to clever, but means being wise. Unsympathetic, where you don't really feel sorry for other people or think about how other people feel. And then generous, where you want to help others and give to other people. Today we're going to talk about these 5 personality traits more specifically. And remember, personality traits describe what the character is like on the inside. So first we have curious, which is if you're curious, you want to know more about things, you want to learn about things or see how things work. Determined is somebody who begins with the end in mind. They set a goal and they just keep working towards it and don't give up. Demanding is someone who wants things to happen right away, or they want things to happen their way. They don't really compromise with somebody else. Persistent doesn't give up, and mischievous is causing trouble, but in a kind of playful way, not necessarily on purpose. So I'm actually going to read a piece of a story today, and we're going to think about which of these character traits fit this character. This is probably a character that you are familiar with, and his name is Curious George. So let's think about which of these character traits fit Curious George. This is George. He was a good little monkey and always very curious. This morning, George and the man with the yellow hat were at the train station. They were taking a trip to the country with their friend, Mrs. Needleman, but first they had to get tickets. Inside the station, everyone was in a hurry. People rushed to buy newspapers to read and treats to eat. Then they rushed to catch their trains. But one little boy with a brand new toy engine was not in a hurry, nor was the small crowd next to him. They were just standing in one spot looking up. George looked up too. A trainmaster was moving numbers and letters on a big sign. Soon the trainmaster was called away, but his job did not look finished. George was curious. Could he help? George wants to know more about these numbers and letters on the board, and he's thinking maybe he could even help. George climbed up in a flash. Then, just like the trainmaster, he picked a letter off the sign and put it in a different place. Next, he took the number 9 and put it near a 2. George moved more letters and more numbers. He was glad to be such a big help. Uh-oh. He thinks he's helping, but do you think it's helpful? If he's switching the numbers and letters around on this board, it might cause some confusion. "Hey!" yelled a man from below. "I can't tell when my train leaves." "What track is my train on?" asked another man. "What's that monkey doing up there?" demanded a woman. She did not sound happy. The trainmaster did not sound happy either. "Come down from there right now," he hollered at George. Oh, look what he did to that board. Oh, those don't even say times. 8:92, that's not a time. He's mixed up the train numbers, the times. He's got letters. Let's see, over here, upside down. Whoa. Do you think George was trying to cause a problem? I don't think so either. I think George was just being curious and also a little mischievous. Remember, mischievous is when you're causing trouble, but kind of in a playful way. So if I did a response to this book from the part that we just read, I have the title, Curious George Takes a Train, and that would put my character's name, sorry about that, and it won't let me go back. So I would put the character's name, which of course is George. And curious is kind of in the title. That seems too obvious. So I'm just going to put mischievous. And then I need my evidence, my reason why. He's mischievous because he wants to help, but ends up causing trouble. So he's curious about the numbers, he wants to get up there and help, but what he doesn't realize is he's actually causing a bigger problem. So today, with our reading lesson, we're going to take things a little closer. And you might have heard me use the word evidence. Evidence shows how you know something. So let's say my son snuck a snack into the living room. And I said, EJ, did you eat some crackers in here? He's like, nope. And then I look on the couch and I see crumbs. The crumbs would be the evidence that something isn't what it seems, right? I could see that there's crumbs there. That means you probably were eating a snack on the couch and you didn't ask for that, right? So your evidence when you're reading is the words you find in the text that show what you're trying to say or support what you're saying about what's happening in the book or the characters in this case. So we are going to think about how we can show evidence of the character's traits. And I know Miss Norgard showed you this poster earlier in the week, and she talked a little bit about the character's thoughts, words, and actions, and sometimes even their feelings being evidence. But today we're just going to focus in on the character's words. So we're going to infer personality traits by looking at the character's words today. You're going to listen to a part of a story, and then we're going to fill in our sentence stem just using evidence from what the characters say.
Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters, an African Tale. Written and illustrated by John Steptoe. Read by Miss Buck. A long time ago, in a certain place in Africa, a small village lay across a river and half a day's journey from a city where a great king lived. A man named Mufaro lived in the village with his two daughters, who were called Manyara and Nyasha. Everyone agreed that Manyara and Nyasha were very beautiful. Manyara was almost always in a bad temper. She teased her sister whenever their father's back was turned, and she had been heard to say, "Some day, Nyasha, I will be queen, and you will be a servant in my household." "If that should come to pass," Nyasha responded, "I will be pleased to serve you. But why do you say such things? You are clever and strong and beautiful. Why are you so unhappy?" "Because everyone talks about how kind you are, and they praise everything you do," Manyara replied. "I'm certain that father loves you best, but when I am queen, everyone will know."
So far, I already hear the girls saying some things that really give me a hint about their personalities. So if you listen to Manyara and the way she talks to her sister, she's like, "I'm going to be the queen and I'm better than you." She kind of sounds like a little conceited, like she just thinks she is everything. And then if you listen to how Nyasha responds to her, she's like, "Well, but you are beautiful and you are kind, and I don't know why you're talking to me this way." So it seems like maybe Nyasha is just very tolerant. She's very patient. She's very forgiving of her sister talking to her this way. But let's continue watching and see if we can find some more words that give us clues to the personality traits of the characters.
"Oh, your silly kindness is only weakness." Nyasha was sad that Manyara felt this way, but she ignored her sister's words and went about her chores. Nyasha kept a small plot of land, on which she grew millet, sunflowers, yams, and vegetables. She always sang as she worked, and some said it was her singing that made her crops grow more bountiful than anyone else's. One day, Nyasha noticed a small garden snake resting beneath a yam vine. "Good day, little Nyoka," she called to him. "You are welcome here. You will keep away any creatures who might spoil my vegetables." She bent forward, gave the little snake a loving pat on the head, and then returned to her work. From that day on, Nyoka was always at Nyasha's side when she tended her garden. It was said that she sang all the more sweetly when he was there.
What do you think we can infer about Nyasha based on how she talks to the little snake? I have a feeling if Manyara came across that snake, she would not be very kind to it. But Nyasha's like, well, you're welcome here. You will help my garden. And she's very kind to the snake. So I think that also gives us more clues about Nyasha's character.
Mufaro knew nothing of how Manyara treated Nyasha. Nyasha was too considerate for her father's feelings to complain, and Manyara was always careful to behave herself when Mufaro was around. Early one morning, a messenger from the city arrived. The great king wanted a wife. "The most worthy and beautiful daughters in the land are invited to appear before the king, and he will choose one to become queen," the messenger proclaimed. Mufaro called Manyara and Nyasha to him. "It would be a great honor to have one of you chosen," he said. "Prepare yourselves to journey to the city. I will call together all our friends to make a wedding party. We will leave tomorrow as the sun rises." "But my father," Manyara said sweetly, "it would be painful for either of us to leave you, even to be wife to a king. I know Nyasha would grieve to death if she were parted from you. I am strong. Send me to the city and let poor Nyasha be happy here with you." Mufaro beamed with pride. "The king has asked for the most worthy and the most beautiful. No, Manyara, I cannot send you alone. Only a king can choose between two such worthy daughters. Both of you must go."
We'll listen to more of this story tomorrow, but for today we're going to pause right there and see what we can say about these characters just based on what we've heard so far today and based on their words. So I paused the video a few times when I noticed the girls saying things, but for my reflection document that I'm going to type in right here, like you will do for your assignment today, oops, did it again, I'm going to use just the last part of the story. So I have the title of the book, and I've clicked and typed Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters. And now I need to pick a character. And I'm thinking I'm going to go with Manyara because I noticed something she said at the end. I remember how at the beginning she was saying that she was going to be queen someday and Nyasha's going to be her servant. And then at the end, she was saying to her dad, like, oh, don't send Nyasha, send me. Poor girl wouldn't be okay. She wouldn't ever be able to live without you. I'll just go. So it sounds like she's really determined and not giving up. And she really wants to be queen. So I put Manyara is determined because, let's see, she said in the beginning, this is not a new sentence, hold on. Oh, okay. She said that she would be queen one day, and then she told her dad to send her instead of Nyasha, the sweet sister. So I'm going to finish up my sentence there, and actually it's okay if it goes a little below the line. If you need more space, I can still read it just fine. So today you're actually going to be listening to a read aloud of Amazing Grace, and I want you to just focus and think about the words that you hear Grace say and what that tells you about her character.